In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips for overcoming imposter syndrome so you can show up as your most badass, authentic self in your online coaching business. If you're new here, my name is Amanda. I help new and aspiring online coaches create, launch, and scale their profitable online coaching business using human design and AI. So if that sounds interesting to you, then go check it out. I also made a whole free training, how to find your online persona using human design. That's inside Fire Your Boss Free. I even have a whole bunch of ChatGPT prompts in there that'll do all the work for you because we're not here to reinvent the wheel. I'm a line 4. Okay. Candid conversation with you here about my own feelings and experiences with imposter syndrome. And it's a really tough thing because I know you have a really strong desire to help people. Like, you're coming from the best of places and you want to be able to help them, and you truly believe that you can help them, but you're so afraid of what your neighbor, sister, mama, friends at church are going to think about you if you show up online and actually speak your truth. And that actually holds you back from creating the level of freedom and independence and exhilaration that comes with living your unique purpose. And so that's why I chose to blend human design with selling your advice online, because the biggest thing I hear from my clients is that they don't know what to post. And when you're struggling with imposter syndrome, it can just seem like this unbearable obstacle to getting the life that you want. And I don't want you to deal with that. So if you're anything like me, if you resonate with any of that, this is definitely something that you're going to deal with at some point if you're not already dealing with it in your online coaching business. And the cool thing is that today it's actually easier than ever to start a business, and it has the least risk. Of course, any business has a risk, but the fact is, if 100 years ago, if you wanted to start a business 100 years ago, you would have to save up for like 10 years, put your house, have a house, and then be able to go to the bank and put your house up against the loan so that you could get enough money to start your own bakery. And you'd have to work like super long hours to get this bakery going, and it would probably take a few years. And then if you failed, you would lose everything. Now we have social media. It's easier than ever to attract your ideal clients because of the tools and the technology that are available today between YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Skool. The bar is lower than ever, but you still have to show up, right? And so today, for example, when I was sitting down to shoot this video, do you know how long it took me to get to the point to actually make a YouTube video? Do you know that? Like, it's insane. I've done pretty well on TikTok. All of my clients have found me on TikTok, and I have been wanting to start a YouTube channel for so long. I have some videos on YouTube, but they weren't made for YouTube. I've just put them on there. And so I was like, well, I don't have the right gear. Maybe I need another microphone. Maybe, my computer isn't enough. What about the lighting? I mean, I had so many thoughts in my head, and it's crazy because I can make a video, but I still dealt with it. Do you know how many videos I watched yesterday on how to make your first YouTube video? It was a lot. And I knew today that I was going to make this video because I committed to my business besties. I said, I'm going to make a YouTube video today. I don't care how much it sucks. I'm just going to do it. And so because I told them I was going to do it, now I'm here actually doing it. But I had a lot of angst, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. I felt like I wasn't prepared enough. And it felt like as soon as you go to sit down, it's like you forget everything that you were going to say. And you're just like, I don't know what my life is anymore. Does that ever happen to you? So, and I have this thought that like I've been successful with my online coaching business, and then I have this fear that I won't be able to maintain that success, that it's all going to go away, that I'll let everybody in my life down. I have these fears, and you can have the fears and do it anyway. I promise you. So I'm going to share with you some things that I did and that I've done that have helped me with this. So the first thing, when you are battling imposter syndrome, that can really help you is to ask yourself, is this true? Identifying the thought, and sometimes the thought is so fleeting that it's hard to catch, which is why meditation has helped me so much. But the thought that I was having was, I won't be able to continue my success and I'm going to be a failure. I thought that. And so I had to ask myself, is this true? Well, first of all, I don't know what the future holds. as far as continuing my success, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to exceed everyone's expectations. And so I had to realize that that is not in my hands. How many people see this video isn't in my hands. I don't have the power to control the future. The only thing I have is this moment right here, right now. So if you can identify the thought that's playing back there, then you have a chance. If you can't, you're never going to be able to get there. So if you can identify the thought that I'm not good enough, I won't be able to continue my success, then you can ask yourself, is this true? And if it's not true, start listing all the reasons, like literally write this down. List out all the reasons that it's not true, because you can consciously defeat this subconscious programming with that level of intention and attention. So by this thought of I'm not good enough, I ask myself, is this true? No, I don't think that's true. That's bullshit. And it's coming from some past programming, some past conditioning that does not belong to me. Everybody hates me. They're not going to like the video. Is that true? I don't think that's true. I'm not going to be for everybody, but as far as everybody hating me, I don't think so. That's not true. It's not true. So replace it, and then replacing it with, I can do this. Find evidence, find proof in your current life that what you want is possible. If you can find one other person out there right now doing the thing that you want to do, then you have a chance. And start consciously defeating this subconscious thought consciously until it catches on. And the thing is, whenever you're doing something new, like Mel Robbins says this, it's not imposter syndrome. You're just a beginner. You're not an imposter. If you're here for the right reasons, if you really want to help people, then it's not that you're an imposter. It's just that you're a beginner. I mean, I think that you would agree that if someone came to you for help and you knew that you could help them, would you just tell them, oh, well, I guess you'll figure it out. You're on your own. Or would you go to the ends of the earth to help this person? I think you'd probably go to the ends of the earth for them. I know my people. I know you guys. Y'all genuinely care. I haven't had a single client that doesn't genuinely care. So you can do this. I can do this. I am destined to be here. I'm here to help people. Or if you've got the thought, maybe this resonates with you. Who am I to have an online coaching business? Who am I to talk about human design? I'm not the human design expert. Oh, I bullet pointed out all of the reasons that I can do this. Instead of who am I to be doing this, who am I not to be doing this? Who am I to have a tool, to have a resource, to have some knowledge that could help somebody else and not share it with them because I'm afraid they're not going to like my hair, or I'm afraid they're not going to like the way my voice is. How selfish is that? So you can overpower those subconscious thoughts with your conscious mind if you can cool off for a second long enough to identify the thought and simply list out the reasons that it's not true. Defeat it. You can defeat your subconscious mind with your conscious attention and effort. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Now, tip number 2 is, this is something that I did, is create a protocol. So when you're going to sit down to do something that you haven't done before and you're having those thoughts of, who am I to do this? Who am I to show up online and talk about human design when I don't know enough about it? Who am I to make a YouTube video where I've never made a YouTube video before? You list out all the reasons you can. And so create a protocol. So this is my protocol when I feel like this, is I meditate for 20 minutes. So just calming my mind. You can do a guided meditation, an unguided meditation, whatever works for you. This is just what works for me. So I meditate for 20 minutes. I drink a glass of water. And then I do my affirmations in a power pose. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about this. I can do this. I'm a fucking rock star. I'm going to help people. Damn it. Make yourself a protocol. What is your protocol? How are you going to support yourself? This person, when you go look in the mirror, that person, they need your love and support more than anybody else in the world. how are you going to love and support and show up for that person who matters? Okay. Tip number 3 is if you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. If you don't have people in your life who support you, who believe in you, who see and recognize and appreciate what you're trying to do, you will never, ever get there. That sounds rough, right? I think it sounds rough too. I hate the way it is. I have bought so many courses and programs. I have applications. I still deal with all of this stuff. And I found both of my coaches online on a TikTok live actually. And I'm in his membership community. And what I realized was like last week, I was having a really rough week. It was a really rough week for me. I felt like I was letting everybody down. I was never going to succeed and that everything would just fall apart around me. And then you know what I realized is like I hadn't gone to any of my coaching calls in my community for a couple weeks. And I've recognized this about myself that I have this thing in me that it's like I've had this thought that it's like I have to do it myself and prove everybody that I'm amazing. It's like that's like a big thought for me is like I have to do it alone. Because it's like I have something. So like just last week I had another lead magnet. It was how to find your perfect online coaching niche using human design and ChatGPT. But the thing was I tried to do it and it didn't really work. And I know how important this niche thing is. And I do have a method for doing it using ChatGPT, but it's like I have to actually talk to you to walk you through it. And so the lead magnet, I wasn't pleased with it. And I started freaking out that I was a failure. And so I reached out to my coach and I was like, this is just an example of how I've overcome this. He was giving me some feedback. We were talking about it. And he said, you know, Amanda, all of your problems will be solved if you just talk to your community. Just ask them what they want. And so I did. And it was astounding that all of you said, we want find your online persona using human design. And then it was like, bada bing, bada boom, we have answers. And then it's so much easier for me to show up and talk about that because you guys have told me that you want that. So when I know what you want, I can go do the research, put in the work, put everything together. And it's like, everything just goes so much more smoothly. So the third tip is find your people, find a community, put yourself in a position where you're not the smartest person in the room, where what you want is actually, you see what you want is attainable. Because if you're not seeing other people accomplish the thing that you want to accomplish, you don't have very much proof and you don't have very much ammo for those thoughts of, I'm not good enough when they hit. So by me getting back into my coaching community, asking for help, because I have that community, I was able to do that and I was able to overcome that. And it wasn't this obstacle that I couldn't get through. Whereas it would have been if I was trying to do it myself. So that's the third tip is find a community, find your people. They are out there. I promise you, you are not meant to do this alone. What's so cool about human design is it gives you like an understanding and appreciation for who you are and that you have certain strengths and that you don't need to compensate for the weaknesses. You can just put yourself in position to be supported. Like right now, if you know anybody, I really want a manifesting generator virtual assistant. So if you know anybody, I'll let you, girl. Because I know I can't do everything myself. I'm a non-energy projector, which that was shocking. It wasn't shocking. It made perfect sense. And so, yeah, I'm really working on this like hustle, gotta make it happen. I gotta work really hard. Like I'm working on that. But what really helps is when you're doing something that you love. Number 4 is that overwhelm and action cannot coexist. So when I was going to make this YouTube video, I told you I had all of these thoughts. It was like, who am I to talk about human design? Who am I to make a YouTube video? I won't be able to continue my success and people are going to know that I'm a failure. I had all those thoughts and I did the things I just told you about. I just decided to sit down and shoot the video. Because overwhelm and action cannot coexist. Your mind can only be focused on one thing at a time. And what I've realized is I have the same thing. I go down to make content and I'm like, well, what am I going to say? I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know. What could I possibly talk about? So funny. And then you see I can talk, but in the moment I feel like I have nothing to say. And then when I go to sit down, it's like I forget everything I'm going to say. So now I have notes, which really helps. But every single time, if I sit down and actually just start to make a video, it all just starts to come out. And what I'll do is I'll sit for a second and I'll just like center my center my thoughts and just ask God or spirit or source to speak through me and allow me to show up and serve. And all of a sudden, I'm not so overwhelmed. I'm not feeling like an imposter because I'm actually doing something. Just do it. Okay. Tip 5 is that when we're experiencing imposter syndrome, what's happening is you are so focused on yourself and your perceived lack that you're forgetting about the person on the other side of this video who needs your help. So if you can focus on service, focus on that one person that you're here to help. And one thing that's really helped me with content creation is I've worked with enough clients by now to know like who my ideal perfect client is. So when I go sit down to make content, I just picture her. I just like picture that I'm talking directly to her. And then because when you're trying to make content for everybody, it gets really overwhelming. But if you have worked with enough clients to know, or if you have done enough of your niche research to know, like, just talk to that one person. It makes it so much easier. And focus on what do they need to hear today? What are they struggling with right now that I can help them with? And if you can focus on this other person instead of being so self-obsessed and self-absorbed, which is what imposter syndrome is, it's really going to help you when you sit down to create content. We live in this world where it is easier than ever to put yourself in position to be discovered because of social media, and yet we all feel so alone and isolated. And it would be like if your neighbor was an EMT and you like fell down and broke your leg or something, and they wouldn't come help you because they were afraid that you wouldn't like their face. If your neighbor knows something that can help you and they don't help you, that's just selfish. You're not selfish. So stop acting like it. So if you're struggling with imposter syndrome, you know you really want to help people, but when you go sit down to make content, you're just not sure what to say. Your self-confidence goes out the window. Focus on these things. Number 1, ask yourself, is this true? If you can identify the thought and isolate it and ask yourself if it's true, you have a chance. Then you start writing down all the reasons that it's not true. You can consciously beat this unconscious belief or fear into submission. And if you replace that thought often enough, it will become true for you. Okay? Number 2 is create a protocol. For me, it's meditate for 20 minutes, drink a glass of water, and then say my affirmations in a power pose. Okay? Tip 4 is knowing that overwhelm and action cannot coexist because your mind can only focus on one thing at a time. And if you can just sit down and start to do the thing, you're not going to feel so overwhelmed. I promise you. I swear to God. Okay? And then number 5 is focus on the person that you're here to help. Focus on them instead of being so concerned about what other people are going to think of you, because you know that you're here to help. You know it. You know that you have something to offer this world. So to be so worried of what people are going to think of your hair that you can't sit down and make a piece of content is doing the world a disservice, and that's not who you are. So I hope you got something from this. Let me know in the comments, what was the biggest insight you got from this video? And I can't wait to see how it hits. I love you. Mwah.